Alright, this is the step-by-step video on how to play the Pirates of the Caribbean main theme for the violin or the viola. I'll play it first and then I will teach it to you. Alright, so in this video I'm going to give you 4 parts that makes up the first half of that, and I'll follow up with another video about how to play the second part of it. So before I give you these 4 parts, there are 2 spots that I'm going to introduce to you first, and that's because these are the hardest places and you should practice these first so that you don't get frustrated later. So the first spot is just 3 notes. It sounds like this. And those notes are B on the G string, so your second finger, open D, and the first finger on the D string, which is your E. So those 3 notes have to be played at that speed. So there's also a string crossing in there, going from the G string to the D string. So what I recommend you practice is putting your bow on the D string, and then instead of moving your elbow and your whole arm up for the G string, try to just move your hand, your wrist, to tilt your bow enough to get to the G string, and then drop it back. That involves less movement than using your whole arm. Since it's just 1 note and it's fast, it should be easier to do it with less movement. So that's the first thing to practice, those 3 notes. I've repeated a lot, and when you have it and it's good, then you should move on. And here is the second spot. Sounds like this. It's again just 3 notes. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. If you're comfortable with your pinky finger, then you should use it. The notes are G, this is on the D string. The notes are G, third finger, A, which if you're using your 4th finger on the D string, that's an A, and then F sharp, which is the 2nd finger. Those 3 notes. Now if you're not comfortable using your 4th finger, you can use an open A. The disadvantage to using the open A, while it might seem easier than using your 4th finger, is you have to cross the string twice. You have to go over from the first note to get to the open A, and then back from the open A back to the next note. So when you're playing fast, you have to decide, is it easier to just stay on 1 string and use your 4th finger? Or is it easier to use the open string but have to cross strings twice? So that's up to you to decide. My preference would be that you learn to use your 4th finger now because you will need it a lot. So I would just do it that way. Anyways, whichever way you choose, once you have those 3 notes up to tempo and sounding good and comfortable, then you can move on, and here we go. We're going to start the first part. Sounds like this. So you might recognize you've already learned part of that. You have the first 3 notes we learned in our first spot. We're going to add another E to the end of it. Then we're going to start the next little segment, which starts with yet another E. And it just walks up the D string. E, F sharp, and then G 2 times. And then we have the second spot we learned, but we're going to add a second F sharp to it. And then the last little segment is first finger E, open D, and then back to the E. So if we put those 4 segments together, it sounds like this. And so I practice it with stops first. And then once you have it with the stops, then start to take them out. You can start by doing it with just one big stop here in the middle. And then when you've divided it like that, then you can take out that stop as well. Okay, that's the first part. The second part is actually the exact same thing, it's just a repeat. So you play that whole thing through twice. Now, the next part, it starts the same. Then it changes. So this second little segment goes from E to G. So we're skipping over our second finger this time, and then we're going to go to open A. 2 open A's. Okay, so from the beginning, the first segment, it sounds like this. To the next segment here. Okay. Next little segment. Open A, and then on the A string we play our first finger B, second finger C. Now, it's important to note here that your second finger is a low 2. It's right next to the first finger, okay? On the D string we played a high 2, so it was a whole step from the first finger, as it is on the G string, a whole step, okay? But if you see the difference, as I go to the A string, my second finger is going to come right next to the first finger, so it's a low 2. So again, that's that spot, and then we can put that little segment together. Hear that? And then we're going to add the last little segment, which is just on the A string. It's B, first finger, and then open A, and then back to the B. So, putting those 4 little segments together with a pause in between each one, just like we did before. And then you can take it out and just do one in the middle. And then when you have that, take that one out as well. All right? So those are the first 2 sections. The next 2 sections are much shorter, so that's the good news. So first, the third section here sounds like this. So those notes on the D string are E, first finger, F sharp, second finger, G, third finger, twice, open A, and first finger B. Okay, one thought I just had, you can always do this. You can slow down the playback speed on this video if it helps you to learn it. If you want to see my fingers moving slower and hear the notes slower than that. Okay, that's the third section. And here's the fourth section. Those notes are all on the D string. So we're going to start with our first finger E, third finger G, second finger F sharp, twice, third finger G, second finger F sharp, first finger E. So if we put those 2 sections, the third and fourth sections together, and then we're ready to put the whole thing together from the very beginning. First section, second section. Oh, sorry, first section repeated. Second section. Third section. Oh, sorry. Fourth section. All right, and then the whole thing, no stopping. And the rest of it I will teach in a future video.